Because to no surprise to anybody, John Jones fails another drug test. Another one. I mean, just another one. Another one. It's just...
No.
It's just...
Say it ain't so, man.
I've tried to get behind the guy.
Oh yeah, you're diehard John Jones fan.
I've tried to get behind the guy. I mean, and he had set himself up to be. I mean, he could end up after all of his troubles. He could have very well ended up being a really good role model for anybody. Anybody that's had struggles and was able to bounce back from it like he did. And I mean, he had the platform to do it and everything. I mean, I don't want to fully criticize the guy until his appeal gets heard and I mean he gets his due process and everything, but. From any other failed drug test that's recently happened with USADA, I mean, nobody's got out of it.
Listen, I just can't believe you get busted this many times and I hear something that it's fake. I just can't believe it. Like, I'm not going to believe that. He can't give me the whole thing, it was tainted or anything. Listen, you can't...
He used that the first time, and I mean, apparently it was, but still, I mean, the chances of this happening twice, a tainted substance twice, I mean...
Well, and then the whole cocaine thing and the whole testing positive for drugs and all that. Listen, steroids or drugs are one thing, but steroids is another. This is just completely unfair to DC.
It is, and I feel bad for him. He does everything the right way.
Exactly. He does everything the right way, and the fans still boo him, and the fans still think, oh, John Jones is still better. But if he's on steroids both times and beat him...
I mean, it's hard to say who's better, and I mean, it's tough to tell because, I mean, the UFC has got way harder testing over recent years. So, I mean, it's possible John Jones was getting away with this for a lot of his career. But, I mean, it's really tough to say. I mean, in my opinion, you're looking at least top 3 UFC fighter of all time, if not literally the greatest fighter of all time.
Pure talent, and a lot of people don't realize that body, like, just, pure, like, you look at him.
And how young he started.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, had he not had these other suspensions, you're looking at, his record nobody's beating this man. Nobody's beating him.
If you're literally building a fighter on UFC video game, you're going to build someone with 85-inch wingspan.
Yeah, I mean, he's your perfectly built UFC fighter. Like,
he can go to the ground, choke you out. He can go to the ground, tap you out. He can go to the ground.
Whatever you want to do.
He can snap you around. He can do clinch. He can elbow you. He can spin and back elbow you. He can head kick you. He can literally knock you out in any kind of way you want. He can finish you any kind of way you want. He is literally the perfect fighter. I just do not understand why he had to do it.
No, and I mean, I've tried to root for him through everything, but I mean, like, we're talking about a man, too, who just has that champion drive as well. Like, Vitor Belfort had him in one of the nastiest arm bars you'll ever see, and, like, it looked like it literally popped his elbow. Mm-hmm. Like, literally dislocated his elbow, and John Jones still stays in that fight and wins that fight. Like,
and don't forget about the toe being...
Yeah, and if you haven't seen that, look it up on YouTube.
Well, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't really recommend it.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that one, but... Man's tough, but listen, I had a hard time after 200 giving him a pass, and I was not getting excited for the DC fight until the day it happened. Until I saw both of them walk out, I was not getting excited.
Made sure, because John Jones has built himself up that way. You just don't know.
I can't believe in him, and that's the thing is, I'm done with him.
Done. I mean, I don't want any. Honestly, if this is true. And, I mean, it looks like it is. I mean, he's looking at a 3 to 4 year suspension. I mean, I don't even want to hear his name right now, to be honest.
And, the UFC's probably going to give him another chance. And, it's going to be a big deal. And it's still going to sell because it's John Jones,
And, I mean, he's looking at 33, 34 years of age, which, I mean, is older. But, I mean, in MMA, you have a lot of fighters that fight way past that. I mean, DC right now, I believe, is 38 years old. And, I mean, still fighting at a high level. It's just you got to look back at his career and just what could have been had none of these suspensions happened. Like, he was the youngest UFC champion ever.
Yeah, and literally has not lost clean. The one loss he had was a loss
against Matt the Hammer Hamill, and he was getting the hammer.
Yeah, exactly.
Hit to him, like, yeah.
See, but this what worries me the most is if he really is suspended for 2 to 4 years. That could. I'm not wishing it upon him, but that could give him like a downfall, give him a slippery slope, and he just goes down to something. If he's already on it, his high, and this is his lowest low, I just pray that it does not happen.
I wanted to believe him that he was just bad. I mean, I had a lot of faith in him. I was excited to see him win that fight, especially with that head kick that, I mean, it's only he does that type of stuff where he lost the first 2 rounds and literally just comes out of nowhere with that head kick and sends Cormier to another planet.
Yeah, I mean, and hey, man, when I first saw the news, when you texted me, I literally, the first thing I thought of was DC. I was like, man, I feel so bad for this guy.
You can't not. I mean, I saw the UFC embedded video of UFC 200 when they were supposed to fight again, and I mean, he wanted to just sign a waiver just to fight him still.
Exactly, and he's not going to use this as an excuse. You know, he's going to be like, I still lost regardless.
And he said that. He said John Jones is his due process. He said, in his opinion, he fought John Jones that night. Both were clean, and John Jones was the better man that night.
Yeah,
I mean, that's DC.
That, man.
And that's DC.
And see what I don't know why the fans still need to hear more out of DC or see more out of DC. This guy has been the same guy for 5 years. Why don't you cheer for him?
And he's beat everybody that's went to him except for John Jones, and it's hard to tell if John Jones has been clean for both those fights.
Exactly. Listen, I was cheering for John Jones the night of the fight too.
Yeah. But the UFC needs him.
Yeah, but the reason why I did that is because I honestly thought he was the better fighter, and I thought that if he wins after all that, it just shows how great he was.
Yeah. I mean, take that type of layoff and fight against a dude that has literally destroyed the rest of the division. Like, nobody else has touched Cormier.
Yeah, and he's cleaned out the division just as much as John Jones has. Yeah. And the only person that was left for John Jones was Anthony Johnson. He beat Anthony Johnson twice and destroyed him both times.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it doesn't sit well with me, I would say.
Nah, I've lost a lot of respect for him. I mean, maybe somehow this comes out that it was a false test positive. I find it odd that it took this long for this to come out.
Yeah, exactly. What is with the drug testing? It took you this long, and you took it after the drugs. What do you mean, bro? How did you not test out positive?
Yeah,
before?
I mean, and I find it as disrespect to DC that they can't figure this stuff out right before the fight. Like, this should come out before, and the fight shouldn't happen. He should have never had to take that kick. Should have never been the face of memes of him crying after the match.
Exactly. And the thing with the Mark Hunt and Brock Lesnar, which is the exact same thing, he didn't know until afterwards he was on roids and he lost. And still Brock Lesnar got all the money and all the praise and everything. Which is the exact same story. How do you not know he's on roids before then? How do you not get tested positive before then? That's what I don't understand.
There's got to be faster testing for this. Mm-hmm. And I tell you what, I would still love to see, with both of them on steroids, give me John Jones versus Brock Lesnar.
Ah, bro, I'm done with
that. They can both take steroids. They can make it a WWE match if they want. I'll watch it.
If we're doing that, just make them on roids, man. Put it at WrestleMania, bro.
Just give it to him. I'll watch it.
John Jones is going to be suspended for the next 2 to 4 years, so just put him at WrestleMania.
Yeah, let them both take steroids, and let's see what happens out there.
What if Vince McMahon's like, you know what? Fuck it, bro. Let's get Octagon in here. The main event for WrestleMania is John Jones versus Brock Lesnar, both juiced to the gills, and fucking let them fight, bro. And also, after this, if John Jones comes back and everything's true that it's really he was on roids, I do not want to hear a thing about him being clean and this is the last.
Yeah, I'm done with the sympathy stuff.
Yeah, bro, you ain't gonna get me this time.
Yeah,
you got me last time. And the time before that.
Yep.
And the time before that.
There's just only so many chances you can give the man. And like I said, he had
fooled me 10 times. Like, you ain't gonna give me the 11th.
He had the platform to be a really good role model for everything. I mean, he really did, to show that he can come back like that and still be at the high level that he was.
Exactly. I don't understand it, man.
I mean, it hurts. It really does. I'm at a loss for words with it. I mean,
exactly.
I'm done spending time on it, to be honest.